Welcome to Vine. How are you all? We are moving into the energy of the new moon. I know that you feel this energy. I know that you are having experiences that have you on, I wonder. Check out the other channel with Ascension keys to support in that. The newest video over there right now is how we go to the underworld and we actually guide. What is the underworld? For us, it is any dimensional place that we normally aren't on. And if you've discovered that you are a light worker, that means that you have been able to touch within the fifth dimension. And your work now is to stay balanced so you can spend more time in the fifth and above dimensions. The fifth dimension is where we are working to take the earth plane. How do we take the earth plane there? More and more human beings are able to stay in the higher dimensions for long periods of time. And that is the beauty of light workers. So welcome to Golden Mission 144, where the divine feminine and the divine masculine take the ascension journey into being the light of this planet. Yeah. All right. So let's see, and if you need any support, there's also a course down below in the description. You can also find out how to get to the Ascension Keys channel down in the description. And let's just really get in. We come in with the divine masculine with Lord. Take charge with authority. So it's like, whoa, what action space are we in with the divine masculine energy starting off? And I know you feel this divine masculine energy in the air. This is for your dominant divine feminines who are aligned with masculines. At this point, if you are a dominant divine feminine, you should know of a divine masculine energy that is dominant somewhere in your world, okay? And then this is those who have that dominant divine masculine energy. So we are starting out with take charge with authority, Lord, okay. And this is don't be afraid to take charge or use your voice. Be strong. This is what we're getting from the angels and ancestors cards when it comes to the divine masculine energy to start us off in this reading. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that. This is no excuse for bad behavior. There is no excuse for bad behavior. And the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth. And it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You are being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. This card also brings the energy of ambition and can show you have the potential to move upwards on a professional level, but only if you act with authority and show who you really are. Ah, look at that music! When I tell you that message was so divine for the divine masculine energy, this is where we're starting out with you guys. Okay, hey, do we need to say anything else? This is really about stepping into who you are. It's time to take action and go into your potential spacing. This is really not playing it small anymore. Yeah. That's really what I'm getting here with the divine masculine energy. The reason why I know that is because then we go into the elder. Okay, so this is really big because we go into the elder, and that is move beyond ancestral patterns. So if the divine masculine energy is having to move beyond ancestral patterns, then that's telling us the things that have been getting in the way of you, divine masculine, the things that have been getting in the way of you moving forward is still that hang up stuff that you have. These are ancestral patterns with masculine energy. This is stuff that has been passed down. I'm getting the root of the issues that is showing in the masculine energy right now is how the masculine energy was told to you that it should show up. That it should show up the way your parent or your grandparent showed up in masculine energy, or the way that they were able to respond to the masculine energy that worked for them. The biggest thing that is happening with the divine masculine energy right now is that they're having to cast out, they're having to take charge and be who they are, opposite of the ancestral patterns. And what this is, I'm getting that, look, if your father took this track, understand that you would get another one because he already covered that. If your mother took a track with that man, then understand you'll get another track because he already covered that. That you're supposed to step out of the ancestral patterns whenever you are being yourself, because the entire purpose of you being who you are is to come to earth with another energetic pattern of how things should be that generally breaks the ancestral patterns. The reason it breaks the ancestral patterns is because the way that those setups worked for that time. That divine timing. Divine timing is always doing a new thing, which means that the masculines of the next generation had to take a new journey for the new timeline of things within the divine order of things now. Which means that there's gratitude to the masculines before you and the masculines before them. But the same way, the masculines before your direct ancestral, which I'm saying your father and your grandfather had a different journey. And you have a different journey. For some reason that I'm getting, that the masculine energy was directed in the way of they're supposed to have a mimic journey in order to be accepted, in order to be how they were to be. And this is even for those who are in feminine bodies who have that dominant masculine energy. You can still, whether you received your masculine dominance from your mother's side or from your father's side, there is still a different journey for you. There is not cookie cutter here. We all have a different divine signature. A different divine signature. The divine is always doing a new thing. So this is what I'm getting was the hang up with the masculine energy, is that they were trying to go into these scripts that have already been cast. So it's like, look, that script was already cast. Like, your father did that script, your mother did that script, your uncle did that script, so-and-so did that script down the road. That script has already been cast. Who are you? Who are you? So it's really taking charge in who are you. We know that because the air guardian comes out. The air guardian also came out in our divine feminine reading. Hope you were able to check that out. Oh, what was the title? I'm trying to think of what the title was for that divine feminine reading, but it was just so good. But it matches because the air guardian came out and it was the difference in the perception. And that's what's happening here with the divine masculine energy reading. It's like, look, you have to look at this thing different. You're looking at it like you're failing on your journey because you're taking your own path. And it's like, no, you're not failing on your journey because you're taking the wrong path. You're failing on your journey because you think you took the wrong path. It is your perceptional thinking that I have going on with the divine masculine energy. It's like, well, I went into a marital union and it did not work, but it worked with my parents. Yeah, that was their journey track. So we needed you to go this route to do this. Why would I do that? Because we need an energetic print as to how this can work out well here on the earth. This is a different route, a different journey. You all are assigning what's good and what's bad. But in reality, we have a lot of people taking these different routes that you are taking. So that means that this is an open route. But there's a strong judgment towards this route. Or those who are choosing not to do the marital union prior to the beginning of the family unit. That has been really big on the earth. And it's like, hey, change your perceptional view. Yes, it was that way for the generations before, but what signifies marital union? Is this a spiritual union? Are you talking about a governmental union? What are you doing when you identify your union? So it's like, what's your perceptional thinking that's saying that you're not doing something right or you're doing something wrong? And then I'm also getting, there's a perceptional thinking shift when it comes around to pentacles, money, how to obtain, that there was an ancestral pattern of this is what means happiness and success. What I have is that the generations that are here in the masculine have been doing what the ancestral line says that this will lead to the money and the success, whether it be the job industry track, whether it be the collegiate industry track, whether it be the trade industry track. These are routes. These are routes that people can take. But there are so many, many, many more. And the divine masculine energy is being called to attention because it's like, look, if these things have not worked for you, then maybe there's something new for you to do. If these things have not worked for you, maybe there's something new for you to do. And just because these three routes were the only ones that your ancestral line were able to take, then there is a new thing that is open right now that it seems like you're in charge of. So it's really shifting the perception on how the divine masculine energy has been looking at how they are to live. I'm getting that they were living really limited, really caged, really limited and really caged, meaning that they only had these specific routes and places and ways of doing life that was considered to be acceptable, to be that masculine. And if you shift outside of this way of being, this way of looking, this way of doing, then you are not successful. And what it's happened is that the masculine energy has really kept trying to do those roles, but they kept not being successful at them. The reason why I know that for sure is because here we go down. I also pulled some Rider-Waite just to make sure that I was getting the message that I was getting from the angels and ancestors. We go right here with the 5 of Cups. So what will happen is that the divine masculine energy would take out on a journey to do a lot of the things that they're like, this is going to be the route, this is going to be the route, this is going to be a route. Instead of going within themselves and discovering what they're here for, who they are, like this reading began with the Lord and taking authority and figuring out who you are and then finding your path. They've just been taking the paths that other people have kind of laid out there already. It's like, oh, okay, well, you laid this out, I'll take it. So it's like their family will lay out a path and they'll say, okay, I'll take that. They'll end up dating someone. They'll go, okay, I'll take your path of life. We'll do that. Or they'll marry somebody. Oh, okay, we'll take the path of life you have. They'll even take the path of life that their in-laws have. Or they'll take the path of life of friends, all kinds of different things. But what they're recognizing is that every time they take that path of life, they end up in this 5 of Cups. That 5 of Cups is where 3 things end up pouring out, and then they have 2 still here remaining. Which means, yes, they're gaining lessons and they're learning things, but it's been a long, hard journey for the divine masculine energy in doing things this way. They are not satisfied. It's still 3 down and 2 up, which means that they're still not in the fulfillment stages of life. And the divine masculine energy is really getting frustrated with not being in the fulfillment places of life. They're like, look, I'm not not freaking fulfilled is what I keep getting. So then also going with that elders and the air guardian, it goes right here where these three cards came out together. So you go, okay, this is a lot of action. And it's just like how this reading began with the Lord, which is like, take authority over this. This is a lot of action when it comes to how the divine masculine energy sees and perceives things. They do not perceive things in the way that they perceived things before. There has been a shift there. There's a shift in perspective, because we have right here that comes out with the 9 of Wands, and it's like, look, this is a recognition. I know what's for me and what's not for me, and I'm on guard. I'm a little bit defensive. I'm a little bit annoyed. I can be frustrated during this time. I can even have a short fuse that might flare at you, so stay out the way here a little bit sometimes. So it's like, hey, that's a position of the divine masculine energy. This is all out here together because these are fast moves, fast moves. Then we also have that comes in right here. Interesting enough is the 6 of Wands. And this is like, okay, in a position of hope. And it's like, look, I know what is not for me, but I also have hope and what is for me, and in that action space about it. It's like they actually have the clarity and sight as to what is for them, what it is that they do desire, what it is that will bring them to a place of fulfillment. This is a positioning for masculine energy. And then also coming right here with the Page of Wands, this is right here with it. It's like, hey, I'm a newbie with this thing, but I am all the way in it. And not only am I all the way in it, I'm going to win it, and there's going to be favorable testimony about me winning it. And this is the new thing that I have decided to do for my life, is what I'm getting there. The reason why I know that is because the final that we have with the angels and ancestors that comes in is really big. This is that star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. And that's why we know that this is really big, because it's like they're really having to say, who am I? And I know that I am here for a specific purpose. They're leading to the light that they have. They're also recognizing, if I was attracted to a divine feminine, I'm attracted to the divine part of that feminine. That is what makes that feminine different from someone else, is what you're recognizing also with the divine masculine energy. That they are recognizing who they are and also seeing themselves. And in order to do that, they're able to look out and they're able to see who else is who. And this came out also in a reading this past week, talking about the DF and DM, recognizing who's who. Because when you know who you are, then you know who other people are. And no, they don't have to speak a galactic language, you know, or a higher spiritual knowledge language, even though you are going to hear that. You are going to hear that. Whether or not there's a full knowing or not, it's just going to start coming out. But not just for the masculine, just because it is becoming more and more mainstream as everyday language now. It's no longer going to be secret unto the twins and the divine that are here on Ascension paths. It is becoming more and more everyday language that you'll discover that the things that others have shied away from or looked, here we go, or looked at the twins as if they were a little bit awkward and weird about, is becoming the everyday. It's becoming the everyday. So there is a shifting on who is seen as who is who. And the divine masculine energy is in that point of recognition of self, but also recognition who a real divine feminine is versus who a real divine feminine isn't. Who a divine masculine is versus who a divine masculine isn't. This is leading them to their soul. It's not the ancestral patterns. It is their soul that they are being guided to at this point in time, to know who they are. And I'm getting there's much gratitude in that spacing, and that they are less bothered in the way that they were before about things. But they are experiencing, even though they have awareness that they did not have, what I'm getting is that in the emotional space, we have 9 of swords, and we have 9 of pentacles. So this is really, okay, that mental, that communication space. And then this is also talking about how they are producing money. This is heavy in the emotional space, but this is also, this is really bringing home this entire reading, especially at that 9, because that lets us know we're right there. We're right there at that 10. So this is the step before the manifestation desire, the step before the manifestation desire with the divine masculine energy. So it's like they're having to trust the present moment, even though they're right here with this 5 of Cups again, looking like, dang, I took a wrong turn again. This isn't fulfilling to me. Why is this not fulfilling to me? Because you just went and did somebody else's demonstration of life again. You did someone else's route. You did someone else's plan. You did somebody else's journey. So they're like, even though they're at that space of dang, they're also accepting this present moment space, because they have awareness and clarity that they didn't have before as to who they are and what they need to do and why things have happened the way they've happened for them. They have a lot more awareness than they've ever had before, and they are taking the time needed to nurture themselves. So the divine masculine energy really is nurturing themselves right now. They are wanting to get it together for themselves on a financial provision and an abundant level. They're really wanting to do their own illustration of life, is really coming in strongly. They want that autonomy. So that is something that you might be feeling heavy with the divine masculine energy right now. They are wanting to do their own thing that they're being guided to do at this point in time. And they're okay. Even though the present moment has led them to another space and they really don't like, they're okay being in that present moment of, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what has to be done. And they are also appreciative that they're able to see things from a different perspective, in a way that they're not seeing things in a way of being stuck anymore. They are getting ideas. They are really searching their souls. So they're getting ideas and directions. So for the divine masculine energy right now, it's about, okay, who, what, when, where. They're getting their awareness and their clarity is coming in strongly. So it's really just the divine timing pieces, but they are definitely putting the action in on seeing things from different perspectives, searching their soul for the knowledge of the direction and route they should take, and being really clear and having clarity about what that is for them. So it's just really allowing the who, what, when, where, and time to align to where they are. This is really good, really good. The golden mission. The golden mission is union. Union within self, then union with others.